In today's news, MCMASTER collected silver medal at a Diamond League. BVI Film Commission hosts the second annual Media Familiarization Breakfast, and cancer vaccines are on the horizon. We have the details of this and so much more when 284 News returns.
When you're in need of air conditioning, installation, repairs, or replacement services, Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration has the professional technicians, equipment, parts, and ACs to get the job done right. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration carries top brands like Daikin, Aircon, Mitsubishi, and more. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located in Fish Bay. Telephone 340-4114 or 343-9511. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, providing exceptional services to the British Virgin Islands since 2015.
Welcome to this edition of 284 News. I'm Ron Grant, bringing you the very latest out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Thank you so much for joining us. A happy Thursday is wished to all. Two-time Commonwealth Games champion, the Virgin Islands' very own Kyron McMaster, picked up a silver medal in the men's 400-meter hurdles at the 2023 Diamond League in Stockholm, Sweden on Sunday. Running out of the lane 7 in tough conditions on a wet track, McMaster clocked a time of 48.94 seconds behind the world #1 ranked Karsten Walholm of Norway, who ran an impressive 47.57 seconds. Now, the race was obstructed by environmentalist protesters who stood in lanes 6, 4, and 1 near the finish line. Rasmus Magi of Estonia placed third with a time of 49.09 seconds. Take a look.
Now, McMaster's gone up pretty quickly. He's matching Warholm, left a picture there stride for stride. Warholm, though, with his head up, barrel-chested, punching away down the back straight, looking strong. 150 done. Also going well is Hapio in the headband, third from left, but Warholm now beginning to get some daylight. Great aggressive running from Vaillant in lane 4, and the Frenchman looking fabulous too, but Warholm is away, running blind. He prefers lane 7, somebody to chase. Here he is in the zone. Tunnel vision for the Norwegian as Hapio really stutters at that one there in the headband, but Warholm now down the home straight has a big lead. Great running from Maggie in lane 3. Watch Warholm, it's getting faster, it's getting bigger, the gap between him and the rest dips at the line. And his time comes up as 47.57. He wins by, well, almost a second and a half from Kyron McMaster, Chris.
Deputy Premier, Minister for Financial Services, Trade and Labor, the Honourable Lorna Smith, OBE, delivered a passionate speech at the Financial Services Forum last week, emphasizing her dedication to driving the growth of the financial services sector. She expressed her delight in the government's recognition of its importance and the establishment of a dedicated ministry, which she believes will give the sector the necessary weight boot domestically as well as internationally.
As you all know, I have been always passionate about driving the growth of the financial services sector for most of my working life. I am thrilled that its importance has been recognized by the government and that finally we have a ministry which will give it the weight it needs, both around the cabinet table and in the many international and governmental institutions that we deal with.
Deputy Premier Smith outlined the ministry's vision of a prosperous and inclusive society underpinned by a robust, sustainable, and future-reading economy. She highlighted the key elements of labor and trade, which form part of her ministerial portfolio, and emphasized their integral role in the success of the sector.
I am therefore pleased that the key elements of labor and trade form part of my ministerial portfolio, as they are both so integral to our success. In the case of labor, my overriding ambition is to reduce bureaucracy and red tape which I know many of you have experienced directly, and to make it easier for people to work and build business in the British Virgin Islands. We must have a system which enables our entrepreneurs to thrive and prosper and to create businesses that can provide jobs and services in the BVI and across the world. This requires easy access to the trade licensing and work permit systems and quick decision-making by government. You will be pleased to know that we are now in the process of reviewing both the work permit and the trade licenses systems. You will also know that a new chair of the Labour Arbitration Tribunal has been appointed. Only yesterday, we announced that work permit renewals can be completed and collected by anyone authorized by your offices to do so. All these actions are designed to help the financial services and the wider business community.
Deputy Premier Smith stressed that the success of the financial services community depends on a robust and sustainable broader economy. To achieve this, she highlighted the importance of nurturing local talent and attracting outstanding individuals from the BVI itself to contribute to the sector.
The success of our financial services community depends on a robust and sustainable broader economy that can only happen if we can ensure that the best and brightest within the BVI community have the chance to fulfill their career ambitions. Yes, if we are to develop and further expand the financial services sector, we must ensure we have the right balance of skills, but we must also ensure that we do our best to attract the outstanding talent from the BVI itself into the sector. More leadership and mentoring from the financial services sector is required in this regard, particularly to support our young people. For example, one firm has set up a training program in financial services for 16 to 18-year-olds. This is exactly the kind of initiative. In fact, I would like to see us take a more systemized approach overall, and I want you all to consider how we might establish an industry-wide program.
When addressing trade, Deputy Premier Smith recognized the potential of the financial services sector to offer more to the BVI than is commonly perceived.
The expertise you have can help us to attract more investment into the territory, support innovation in both products and services, and build resilience into our communities. My plan, therefore, is to take a more integrated approach to trade missions. Yes, financial services will often be the major part, but we must also look to how other sectors of the economy might benefit from our outreach. An early example of this will be the planned trade mission to Guyana in August. I want to see a step change in your involvement in our trade engagements as we seek the level of inward investment necessary to improve our infrastructure, grow our economy, and enhance our quality of life.
Now, Deputy Premier Smith acknowledged the challenging landscape faced by the financial services industry. However, she expressed confidence that the establishment of a dedicated ministry will provide crucial support to the industry.
Now, from the perspective of financial services, the ministry has been created at a particularly challenging time. I have spoken frequently about global economic headwinds we can do little about. There's the war in Ukraine, the move away from globalization, and the economic uncertainty so many countries are now facing following the pandemic. We here are also facing hurdles. The threat of PABOs, public registers of beneficial ownership, the FATF examination, governance challenges, and the attitudes of international bodies, including the EU and the OECD Global Forum towards us, is one such concern, or several concerns. All of these have the potential to adversely impact on the BVI and our industry. However, I hope and I do believe that adding the weight of a ministry to support the industry will enable us to face these challenges successfully.
Honorable Smith also spoke to FinTech on the SEAS 2024, which will be hosted in the territory. The event aims to bring together the leading fintech innovators, startups, investors, regulators, as well as industry experts from around the world to discuss emerging trends, foster collaborations, and promote the BVI as a fintech and digital assets hub. The resolution to initiate the territory's first ever referendum on same-sex marriage has been officially gazetted. Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia D. Wheatley made the announcement during a brief update on the current matters of the territory on Friday.
I also wish to inform the public that the resolution for the planned referendum on same-sex marriage will be gazetted today. This resolution will go to the House of Assembly for debate at least 28 days following publication in the Gazette.
Premier Wheatley further elaborated that if the resolution successfully passes in the House of Assembly, a date for the referendum will be announced in due course.
If the resolution is successful, a date will then be fixed for the referendum. More information on how the process will proceed will be forthcoming in the weeks ahead.
The referendum has been considered by Wheatley as a means to fortify the BVI's position against potential forced legalization of same-sex marriage within the Virgin Islands. The news of the referendum first surfaced in December of 2022 when Premier Wheatley addressed the public regarding the ongoing legal decision before the High Court. The case involved a same-sex couple, both Virgin Islanders, who were married abroad and subsequently sought legal recognition of their union within the British Virgin Islands. Should the court decide in favor of the couple, the decision could invalidate Section 13 of the Matrimonial Proceedings and Property Act, which currently stipulates the marriage is valid only between a male and female. Premier Wheatley emphasized that such a ruling had the potential to disrupt the social and religious fabric of the society. In response to the legal challenge, the government of the Virgin Islands expressed its intent to vigorously defend existing laws and uphold the authority of democratically elected legislator in making decisions on matters of this nature. Wheatley firmly stated that his belief that issues of social and religious significance should not be decided in the courts. The Premier called upon the people of the Virgin Islands to voice their opinions on the matter of marriage and stressed that legislators should be obligated to heed the wishes of the populace. Viewers, up next, we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctbvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Continuing on the local scene, Virgin Islands-born actor and producer Sheldon Frett recently visited the Virgin Islands and was the keynote speaker at the Elmore Stout High School 2023 graduation commencement exercise. While here, he sat down exclusively with myself to speak about his remarkable journey within the film industry. Take a look.
My journey as an actor It started in 2013. Actually, I'm coming up on my 10-year mark. It takes 10 years to be good.
Okay.
And 20 years to be great. So I got a call October 11th. I'll never forget it. October 11th, it was my mom's birthday. October 11th, 2013, I got a call, said I just booked a job for the Get On Up film.
Nice.
And my agent called me and it was like, you know, I had about 4 or 5 auditions previously. They wanted me for like some of the lead roles, but this was my first audition ever, so I didn't have any credits. And my agent called me and she was like, hey, they want you for this specific role. And I was like, okay, so we didn't get the others. You know, in my mind, it wasn't a disappointment because I was just excited to get a role on a major studio film, you know, after my first big shot. And then she whispers on the phone, you're going to be working directly with Viola Davis. And I just lost it because as a first timer, you don't get that opportunity to work with those stars straight out the gate. So my career started in 2013. I was studying previously with a private coach who moved from New York to Tampa, Florida, where I was at the time finishing up my undergrad. So I was training with her for 3 years. She would not let us audition or get out into industry because she knew that it was very important for us to understand the craft first.
Okay.
So my first audition out, the Get On Up film, I got the call, booked that. And then because of that start, my career kind of like skyrocketed out of nowhere because outside in the world looking in as an actor, the film producers and everybody else, they're looking like, okay, well, here's this newcomer and how does he get to stand next to Viola Davis? Academy Award winner Viola Davis. So that's where my career started.
Frett spoke about the experience of having worked with Academy Award winner Mrs. Viola Davis and the late Chadwick Boseman on the Get On Up project.
So sitting in the trailer, getting my hair and makeup done, the first person I met was Chadwick.
Okay.
And Chadwick was in full James Brown costume, and he walks in and he knew exactly who I was.
Okay.
He knew exactly what time I was filming. He was an extreme professional. And because that's my first time on set, I'm nervous. I'm a little uncomfortable, imposter syndrome, wondering, well, did I deserve this? Or, you know, this is my first time. I've never been on a major motion picture set. It's like, we're talking Hollywood. There's films and then there's studio films.
Gotcha.
So when you get on the studio set and you see all these lights and you see this trailer and someone comes and picks you up from the vehicle and they're like, hey, Mr. Frett, we're going to take you to your trailer. And I'm like, I'm a kid from Tortola. I'm like, what's this?
Right.
You know, I have no idea. And then Chadwick knew that this was my first gig. I don't know how. I guess producers, directors, I made fans. And he came up to me and he was like, in James Brown, you're going to be something, kid. Like literally in character because he would not break character because it was such a tough role.
Of course.
And I was just blown away by his understanding and empathy for someone like me. So because of that, I have taken that into my career, like making sure that people feel comfortable around me. And then right after that, I sit in the trailer and I'm getting my hair and makeup done, and then Viola Davis walks in, Academy Award winner Viola Davis, and I'm sitting there. And it's hard not to be starstruck because these are like people that I've studied in the journey. And I'm sitting there and she was like, so you're playing my boyfriend, huh? And it just broke the seal. So I like those little icebreakers where these celebrities took their time to let me feel welcome and comfortable. So I take that on my journey. So you'll always get that from me, that humility of them being number 1 and number 2 on the call sheet and understanding that this was my first gig and I didn't even feel like it.
Frett is now embarking on a new project and spoke about what's next for him.
Best of times, worst of times, which was the pandemic. You know, unfortunately, so many things that were happening negative to the people around me. During that time, everything was positively happening for me.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was the best of times, worst of times, but it was the best time for me because I took a risk. So during the pandemic, no one knew what was going to happen, and we were all unsure about the future. So I literally emptied my savings, I won't tell you the amount, but it was like I emptied my savings and I took a risk on myself and I bought the rights to a play.
Okay.
Because I'm a stage actor first. You know, being a stage actor helps me become a better film actor. So I literally bought the rights to a play that I fell in love with in 2013 before I got that gig because I was working in class studying. So the play is called Careless Love. I was in love with this play and I just wanted to put it up on stage. And then after going to grad school and understanding that I've watched a few of the Oscar winners, for example, Moonlight,
Yes.
and then we have like The Father and those things, and then now we have The Whale. Those things were play adaptations.
Okay.
And they're always acclaim worthy because, you know, if we're going back to the Shakespeare days, you know, doing theater is somewhat regarded as a real art form. So I bought the rights to this play during the pandemic, and I literally adapted it into a screenplay. So I'm gonna make a movie adaptation of this play called Careless Love.
Incredible.
So while everything was happening in the pandemic, people weren't leaving the houses, everybody was worrying about life and safety and health, and you know, those were important things. For me, I was doing the opposite. I was writing, I had a lot going for me. I was in the process of getting prepped for the film. So what I'm working on right now is I wrote my first screenplay. I am going to be directing that screenplay. I am producing that screenplay, and I'll be starring in it.
Incredible. So not just actor and film producer, now writer and producer.
Writer and director.
Writer and director.
Correct.
Congratulations on the
Thank
screenplay,
you.
by the way.
Thank
Congratulations.
you, thank you. So it was something that I won't say their names, but I've seen two people do it successfully before me. Writer, director, producer, and starred in their films. And it hasn't been something that's been done often because it's a lot of work, but
Additionally, he took time to speak life and encourage creatives across the Virgin Islands.
so my advice would be, let's start here. Fear cripples. So if you're gonna be fearful, you're gonna be crippled. Unfortunately, we have to get over that ourselves. So the way that we do that is, think about this. Everybody's gonna fail. I'm going to fail tomorrow. You're gonna fail tomorrow. We're all gonna fail. But we don't stop at failure.
Okay.
So now if I think about, I'm gonna fail in some sort of degree, that I'm okay with that. We have to get over the pressure of like, oh, you failed, so now you're over. Failure is where all the lessons happen. And then I can think about it like this. Tomorrow, I'm gonna succeed. You're gonna succeed tomorrow. So if I know that if I go to sleep tonight and I wake up tomorrow, I'm either gonna fail or I'm gonna succeed, what's the big deal? If I succeed, then I gotta go to sleep the next night and I gotta wonder if the next day I'm gonna wake up and succeed or fail. So knowing that failure is inevitable, we have to be able to get over that, and then we have to be able to put 110% on ourselves. Because the strongest currency is not the dollar, it's not the pound, it's not the yen. The strongest currency is belief.
For the full interview, visit all 284 media platforms. Viewers, up next, we have more local news. We'll be right back.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. You're watching 284 News out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Now on to the final leg of our newscast. The British Virgin Islands Film Commission hosted a media familiarization breakfast bringing together industry professionals for the purpose of networking, also known as a FAM event. With the tourism industry, the event attracted some 25 local media professionals. Now, the networking event comprised of videography, photography, animation, sound, writing, and directing professionals. The day's event consisted of engaging conversations aimed at understanding the Film Commission and its role, and discussions on how media professionals and the Film Commission office can collaborate in efforts to grow the industry in the BVI, as well as the current challenges being faced. Accomplished London Academy of Music and Dramatic actor, who we just recently spoke about, Mr. Sheldon Frett, who's also producer, also made a presentation that challenged the film community to consider the state of the filming industry in the Virgin Islands. He encouraged them to bet on themselves and invest in their talent. Now, the FAM breakfast is essentially a networking informal event that is curated for local media professionals, specifically those in the film and photography industry, to be able to meet and network with other like-minded professionals, commented Ms. Natalie Hodge, Film Commissioner. She said, and I quote, "Our objective is to ensure that our local media professionals get the know their Film Commission office, the role of the Film Commission, and to identify and discuss ways how we can best support their endeavors as they navigate careers in this industry, as well as to ensure the Film Commission's presence." Hodge continued by saying, and I quote, "We are pleased with the turnout and thankful to those persons who took the time to attend this year's informative and interactive session. Last year, we discussed establishing initiatives to not only collaborate with local media professionals, but to also support the development of their skills. The October 30th anniversary video competition last year saw talent from across the territory, and this is one such initiative we aim to grow." The BVI Film Commissioner went on to encourage all filmmakers to participate in this year's video competition titled Say Less Film Fest. The Say Less Film Fest is aimed at displaying and developing local talent and will subsequently result in marketing and promoting BVI through shared talents and skilled as a premier film location. The BVI Film Commission celebrated its 30-year anniversary in 2022 and continues, they say, to work to create an uptick in the number of film productions coming to the BVI while strengthening and encouraging local media professionals in developing their craft. Medical reports indicate that the next significant breakthrough in cancer treatment could come in the form of vaccines. Researchers have reached a turning point, they say, where vaccines aimed at shrinking tumors and preventing cancer reoccurrence could become available within the next 5 years. Promising targets for these experimental treatments include breast cancer, lung cancer, melanoma, and pancreatic cancer. This has become possible because scientists have made substantial progress in understanding how cancer evades the immune system. Cancer vaccines, like other, work by boosting the immune system to detect and eliminate cancer cells. Some of the new vaccines utilize mRNA technology, which was initially developed for cancer but gained widespread recognition through its application in COVID-19 vaccines. Further advances in cancer prevention through vaccines are also on the horizon. Decades-old hepatitis B vaccines have proven effective in preventing liver cancer, while the introduction of HPV vaccines in 2006 has successfully reduced the incidence of cervical cancer. Leading pharmaceutical companies Moderna and Merck are said to be collaborating on the development of a personalized mRNA vaccine for patients with melanoma. This approach involves customizing the vaccine to each patient based on the specific mutations found in their cancer tissue. By training the immune system to target these mutations, the personalized vaccine aims to eradicate cancer cells bearing the identical genetic fingerprints. However, the personalized nature of these vaccines may come at a significant cost. In contrast, non-personalized vaccines similar to COVID-19 vaccines could be produced at a significantly lower cost. Now, at the University of Washington School of Medicine, researchers are focusing, they say, on developing vaccines that can benefit a wide range of patients, not just a single individual, but tests are currently underway for early and advanced breast cancer, lung cancer, and ovarian cancer. Some preliminary results from these studies may emerge as early as next year. Viewers, that is it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Ron Grant. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Happy Thursday. Goodbye.